description of a true worker in our business. Okay? Now, first of all, what you need to understand is what is our job in this business? What is our job in this business? Or what is the object? First of all, what are the objectives of this training? And secondly, what is our job in this business? The number one objective is for us to understand the particular income producing activities we're expected to do to generate results. Number two is to understand the minimum required effort or body of work you need to put in to generate or create results. And let me explain the difference between the first. The first one is that there are certain activities you need to do to create income, to generate results. The second objective now is telling you that there is a minimum requirement of effort or body of work expected for you to put in to create or generate that result. Number three, to help you determine whether you're a child, you're a worker, or you're a warrior leader in this organization, all right? And number four, to help you stop depending on luck in this business, to help you stop depending on guesswork and to start engaging in true work that produces predictable results in our business. So what is our job description? What is our task? What is our job in this business, okay? Our job in this business is to raise a financially free people who will in turn raise other financially free people who will collectively use their resources and affect the world positively. Now that we know what our job description is, what is our task? What are the activities we need to do, all right, in order to be able to execute this job so that we can raise financially free people? How do we go? In fact, the question is, how do we go about raising financially free people who would in turn raise other financially free people, and we will collectively use our resources and affect the world positively? As a partner in this organization, as a laborer, as a worker, as a warrior leader in this organization, there are certain tests or assignments that we're expected to engage in order to achieve our goal or our job. What is your task? What is my task? As I'm speaking with you, as I'm speaking to you this evening, I'm not just speaking to you, I'm also speaking to myself. In fact, when he was discussing with me about this, I literally, it was myself I was seeing. And I was already assessing myself if I was truly doing the work required to achieve the ultimate goal. There are 7 assignments expected of us, and this is not going to be new to us, but I'm going to pray by the grace of God I bring some level of understanding for us this evening. Number 1 is prospecting. Number 2 is inviting, which is the most important. Number 3, it's presenting. Number 4 is follow-up. Number 5 is closing. Number 6 is helping a new distributor get started right. And number 7, promoting events, which is the highest paying activity or skill in our business. Now, if you paid attention, you're going to see that I start some of these responsibilities or some of these assignments or tasks, as you might call them. And why is that? Because in our organization or in our responsibility, for you to be able to execute this job, there is a certain level of skill is required. And these skills, they come in fact, they come in a skill, in what I would like to use, they come in levels. There are levels to these skills, okay? There are levels to these skills, which I'll further be explaining. However, the ones I start are the basic skills that you should have at the beginner level, So what are the skill levels that we have in our business and the responsibility we need to execute? According to the law of averages by Jim Rohn, as a beginner or somebody with the skill level of a beginner, if you invite 10 people, 1 person shows up to an event. Remember, as a beginner, out of these 7 tasks, the three most important skills or activities or tasks that you must always indulge and engage in, or as part of your job description when you start as a beginner, is prospecting, inviting, and following up. Prospecting, inviting, and following up. I want you to take note of that. As a beginner in this business, your duty, your responsibility, your task that you're expected to carry on a regular basis, on a daily basis, in order to be able to execute this task is to prospect, invite, all right, and follow up. So according to the law of averages, if you invite 10 people and one person shows up, it means your skill level is a beginner skill level. In fact, if you do more than that, it means you're on the poser level. Now, the next skill level is the amateur level. If you invite 10 people and 2 persons show up, then you're at the amateur skill level. The third one is the professional skill level. If you invite 10 people, 3 or more persons show up, it means that you have increased your skill level. Now, the next thing you need to also understand, this is with respect to invitation, is according to the same law of averages by Jim Rohn, at the beginner level, if you talk to 10 people, 1 person would likely show up, or 1 person will sign up, all right, or you generate 1 code. At the amateur level, when you show 10 people the business, 2 persons sign up or you generate 2 codes. And then at the professional level, when you show 10 people the business, 3 or more persons sign up. So as I'm doing this, you're assessing yourself. Whenever I invite people, when I invite 10 people, how many people show up for that event? How many people show up for the presentation? When I do the presentation, when I show or draw the circles, when I show the opportunity to people, out of 10 people that see the opportunity, how many people sign up? Now, the thing is this, many people have been doing guesswork. They don't even know these numbers. They don't know these averages. So when they come in, they are just going about, okay, making a mental list or even a written list, maybe make their 35 name list and hoping that from that 35 name list, they are going to become financially free. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a minimum required number of activities you need to do in order to create that result of becoming financially free and raising financially free people. So, why is there a law of averages? It said, according to Bruce Lee, how many of us know Bruce Lee? The famous martial artist, okay? Also an actor, but he was actually a professional martial artist. He said, the law of average, it's the law of averages. When you put in more, you come out with more. Whenever you put in more, you come out with more. Whenever you put in more, you come out with more. So one might be asking, why is it that somebody will talk to 10 people and 3 people show up? Somebody will talk to 10 people, 2 people show up. But I talk to 10 people, 1 person shows up. The simple answer is that when you put in more will come out. Also, Jim Rohn said, if you do something often enough, a ratio will appear, meaning the more often you do a particular thing, the better and the more skilled you become. If you're getting value, go to the chat room and type value. If I'm communicating and you're getting value, go to the chat room and type value. So one might be wondering, how come that somebody will talk to 10 persons and 3 people show up, another person talks to 10 people, 2 people show up? It's simply because what separates them is that the person that talks to 10 people and 3 people show up or sign up is because they have a higher skill level, is because they have shown more people the business. And like Eric Worre will say, the solution to every problem in our business is actually quantity. The more often you do something, the better you become. That is the secret of repetition. I think it was, I can't remember who said this and said that repetition, okay, Zig Ziglar, he said repetition is the mother of progress and the father of action. And it's all what leads to accomplishment, okay? Now, moving on. What is the body of work required for me? Because you see, this meeting is about workers. I want you to understand something. I was discussing with some of my leaders, I think it was yesterday or this morning, and I was telling them, you see, the mistake we make when somebody comes into the business and we say we want to help them kickstart is that we do not tell them the body of work required to actually help them get kickstarted. Somebody who is new is at the beginner level. What is his expectation? Have you been able to communicate to him or her that this is the effort, this is the body of work that you need to invest or put in order to create the result, in order for you to be able to recruit that one person to enable you to kickstart your business? So we leave everything to luck and chance where they come in with the mentality and the hope. And like it's often said, hope is not a business strategy. They come in with the hope that, okay, by the time I just talk to this person, I talk to this one person, this two person, these three persons, people will sign up. No. But if he or she knows that this is the minimum required activity or effort I need to do to be able to kickstart my business or activate my business or become an activator, then their mindset is already programmed and conditioned for them to work with that goal, for them to work towards that target. So what is the body of work required, or what you might call the effort required for you to put in order to create results in this business? A lot of our teammates are frustrated. Recently, I was talking with somebody and he told me that he has done everything he has been told to. He made 35 names. He even gave an extra 100 name list. I mean, they've invited all the people, but nobody has signed up. And I asked him a question. I said, please, out of this 35 contact name list and the 100 contact name list, please, how many of those people have actually seen your business, have taken a look at your business? And by the time he counted and listed the number of people that had seen the business, I think there are about 6 or 7. Yes, about 7 persons who had seen the business. And I told him, come and listen to this. Come and see this. According to the law of averages in our business, as a beginner in this business, as somebody who is new in this business, it will take you, because of your level of skill, it will take you showing a minimum of 10 persons the business for it to be. It does not mean that if you show now listen, let me explain it. It doesn't mean that if you show the first person, they might not sign up. But let me explain it to you. You could have 10 different people here right now. Amongst these 10 people, the first person shows, all of them are on a target to show 10 people the business. Now, the first person could speak to 4 people before he gets his first sign-up. The second person could talk to just 2 people and get his first sign-up. The third person could have to talk to 7 people before he gets his sign-up. It's like a deck of cards. For some of you that have played cards, let me use what? You know that what? You know there's this Joker card, 20, that allows you to be able to play. You can request, when you bring it and you play it, you can request for any card. We call it the Joker card. Now, in a deck of cards, there are only 4 of those cards. There are only 4 of them out of a deck of about 54 cards. But when the card is shuffled, you can never actually tell where they fall in. All you need to keep doing is that you need to keep picking the card and flipping to check. You might meet it on the 24th card. You might meet it on the 15th card. You might meet it on the 30th card. It doesn't matter. But what the law of averages says is that you need to go through at least 10 persons at the beginner's level to be able to get one person to connect to your business. Meaning, it could be the 3rd person you speak to. It could be the 4th person you speak to. It could be the 1st person you speak to. It could be the 5th person, the 6th, the 7th. It could even be the 10th person. So what ends up happening is that a lot of people end up giving up. Maybe they have made a 35 name list. Those 35 people were invited. Only 5 people showed up. Nobody signs up. And they tell you that I have invited everybody and I could not get a single sign. So when we sat down, we checked, we realized that he had just shown about 7 people the business. And I told him, probably your new teammate or partner, the person that's supposed to join this business, is either the 8th, the 9th, or the 10th person you're supposed to show this business to. So what is the minimum body of work required for you to invest or to put in order to get or create results. Now, as an active partner in this business, as an active partner who is not just a child, who is truly a worker, who is working towards raising financially free people who would in turn raise other financially free people. If indeed you want to be engaged in this business, the minimum goal, or what I call the bottom line, is a target of 2 codes every week. This is what is achievable and is feasible for everybody that is an active partner or truly wants to get results. It's just like you work in a bank. There's what is expected of you to do, or you work in any organization, let me know you're restricted to the bank. There is a job description that until you have carried out that task, you are not eligible to be paid salary. True or false? True or false? Do you get paid just for showing up and sitting at work? Or do you get paid for going into work and doing the minimum required task or assignment? You are paid based on doing the minimum required task you are supposed to execute. So the minimum required task, if you must be a worker, a laborer in this business, is to generate 2 codes on a weekly basis. Now, what is the work or the body of work required for you to be able to generate 2 codes? As we've seen previously, if I must generate 2 codes as an active partner or as a worker, it means on a weekly basis, if I'm a beginner, I need to show at least 20 people the business on a weekly basis. If I am an amateur, it means my skill level has improved. What this means is, remember, a beginner needs to show 10 people the business for 1 person to sign, which guarantees 1 person to sign up. The problem is that many people are working with luck. They are hoping that by the time they talk to the first person, he signs up, or they talk to the second. But if you know, just like Jim Ross said, if I'll get to that point, he said, you make up in skill what you lack. You make up in numbers what you lack in skill. He said, if we were given a competition to sign up 10 people, if you have a skill where you talk to 10 people and 9 people sign up, and he has a skill level where he talks to 10 and 1 person sign up, he will beat you. Why? Because he will talk to 100 people and 10 people sign up, whereas you talk to 10 people and 9 people sign up. So in order, as a beginner, for you to generate 2 codes weekly, it's expected of you to show the business to a minimum of 20 people. But remember, the more often you keep on doing this, according to the law of averages, a ratio will appear. If you want your skill level to improve from generating 2 codes from 20 persons who see the business to 10, then it means that you need to do it often enough. Because the more you put in, the more comes out. So an amateur, maybe your skill level is you show 10 people the business, 2 people sign up. It means for you to generate 2 codes in a week, you need to show 10 people the business on a weekly basis. As I begin to rush, I take my time. I have just barely 5 minutes to go. All right. Now, on the basis of a professional, you show 7 people the business weekly. Why? Because out of every 10 you show the business, okay, 3 people or more sign up. So what is the body of work required for you to put in? As a beginner, I'm going to break it down on beginner level, on amateur level, and on professional level. All right? On beginner level, amateur level, and professional level. To generate 2 codes per week, what is the minimum activity, or what are the activities you need to do? Remember, I said there are 3 major activities you must indulge in order to create this, to generate these 2 codes on a weekly basis. What are they? If you know them, type them in the chat room. If you know them, type them in the chat room. Okay? If you know it, type it in. I mentioned it earlier. What are the? I said there are 3 important activities or tasks that you must execute on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, in order to get this result. Just type it in the chat room, okay? All right, good, 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 good. Adefunke Mary got it. Prospecting, inviting, following up. Prospecting, inviting, following up. All right, so let's get back to the training. Now, as a beginner, how many people am I expected to prospect on a daily basis? Going by the numbers, you see, everything I'm going to be sharing with you here is based upon the numbers. Is based upon the numbers. The average prospecting number for you as a beginner, if your skill level is 10:1 or 1:10, if that is your ratio, is that you need to prospect an average of 35 people daily, 6 days a week. You need to invite an average of 35 people daily, 6 days a week. And you need to follow up 20 people daily, 6 days a week. Now, by the time you do the numbers, you would see that if I'm prospecting 35 people, it means I've prospected about 200 persons. If I'm inviting about 35 people, it means I've invited about 200 persons in these 6 days. And if 1 out of every 10 shows up or signs up, it means that 10% of 200 is how many? 20. It means 20 people get to see the business and I get to generate 2 codes. 20 people get to see the business. So for me to show 20 people, these are the activities I need to do if my skill level is on the beginner level. Remember, I told you that as we go through this, you're going to be assessing yourself. You already know your skill level, so you know the work that you need to put in. Now, the honest truth is that if you avoid putting in this work, your skill level cannot grow. Even if it does, it will take you a longer period of time than is expected. All right? Now, what is the body of work required for you as an amateur to be able to, you see, all the numbers I'm giving you is what guarantees results, is what you know that if you put in this work, there is no guesswork in it. You don't need to be hoping. It is what it is. It's as good as 2 + 2 is equals to 4. And you know 2 + 2 is equals to 4 in anywhere across the world. Now, as an amateur, what is the body of work required for me to generate 2 codes per week? I need to prospect 20 people daily, 5 days a week, invite 20 people daily, 5 days a week, and follow up 10 people daily, 5 days a week. This is the body of work required for an amateur. Now, what is the body of work required at a professional level? Someone might be asking, why is it that the quantity of the activities is reducing? The truth of the matter is, when we looked at it, as you begin to improve in those skills, remember, as a beginner, you are not the one really focusing on doing the presentations. You're not the one really closing or helping your new distributors get started in terms of training them, mentoring them, anchoring sales meetings. So these activities, the only activities as a beginner that you actually take or are responsible for are those 3 basic activities out of the 7 skills. Those 3 basic ones. But when you become, as you grow in time, over time, as you're growing, what begins to happen is that you begin to see that more people are involved in maybe presenting, closing, helping new distributors get started, right? Like handling QSG, IPO. But as a beginner, you're not the one doing all these things. So you have more time to actually be able to do those things. So if you're asking, where will I find the time to do? Well, in a whole day, what are you using the time to do? You have the time to go and please, let me put a disclaimer out here. A lot of us, okay, a lot of us are beginning to, oh, what if I'm a part-timer? What if I'm a full-timer? The honest truth is that part-time or full-time does not excuse you from the required numbers to create the desired results. That's the honest truth. Being a part-timer or a full-timer, it does not excuse you. If you're a part-timer, you just need to, whether a part-timer or full-timer, if you want to get 4, you must add 2 + 2. So it doesn't excuse you for doing the required work. You just have to find the time and the way to actually do it. Now, as a professional, to generate 2 codes per week, because of your skill level, that person can prospect 10 people daily, 5 days a week, invite 10 people daily, 5 days a week. Because remember, from every 10 people they show the businesses, they can convert 10. They can convert 3, all right? And you follow up about 5 people daily. Now, like I said, one might be asking, why is it that the numbers are higher at the beginner level? because you make up in numbers what you lack in skill. All right? You make up in numbers what you lack in skill. Now, due to lack of time, I wanted to show us what is required. Okay, what is required of you, the body of work required of you as a worker, who I consider a worker. A worker is somebody who has a minimum of like 3 codes per week. All right, this is the bottom line for, in our business, we have what we call, Ambassador Mike taught us on Saturday, we have what we call children, we have what we call workers, and we have what we call warrior leaders. For me, a warrior leader is somebody that has a target of like 5 codes every week. A worker is somebody that has like a minimum of a code target of 3 codes every week. All right. Due to lack of time, maybe if given the opportunity in the future, I don't know if I have the permission of my leader to actually run through this, but I need to bring him up because he has an amazing training to show us. So I'm going to quickly jump, all right, this aspect of showing you the numbers, but we would also communicate it across to your leaders to show you this, okay? But what is the summary of everything we're showing you? As a beginner, if you need to generate 2 codes on a weekly basis, you need to show 20 people the business. You need to generate 3 codes weekly, you need to show 30 people the business. You need to generate 4 codes on a weekly basis, you need to show 40 people the business. You need to generate 5 codes, all right? On a weekly basis, as a beginner, you need to show 50 people the business on a weekly basis. So, going forward, what you need to understand is, if I don't show 20 people the business in a week and I don't generate 2 codes, it means I didn't do the required activities. If I want to generate 3 codes in a week and maybe my target is 3 codes and I didn't show 30 people the business, it means I didn't do the body of work, required. Now, this does not mean that there are no cases where you could show lesser amount of people and still generate more code, because you could even show 10 people the business, 1 person signs up, he comes in with a maxi verse, you've generated 15 codes. But that does not happen all the time. It's not a guaranteed number. It's just more like a bonus in addition to the effort that you've been putting in. As an amateur, what is the summary of the body of work that you need to put in to generate this number of codes on a weekly basis? Number 1, to generate 2 codes on a weekly basis, if your skill level is that you show 10 people the business and 2 people connect, all right? You need to show 10 people the business on a weekly basis. If it's 3 codes, you need to show 15 people the business. If it's 4 codes, you need to show 20 people the business on a weekly basis. If it's 5 codes, your target, you need to show at least 25 people the business on a weekly basis. Similarly, as a professional, if you must generate 2 codes on a weekly basis, you must show a minimum of 7 people the business on a weekly. And when I say professional level, please, I'm talking of like global leaders, emerging global leaders. When I say amateur level, I'm talking about emerging cell leaders and cell leaders. And when I say beginner level, I'm talking about from partner to Kingsman. From partner to Kingsman. So you might be wondering, okay, where am I? Mostly beginners, Kingsman down, I consider you a beginner. Imagine cell leader, I consider you an amateur. A professional in this business, you're an emerging global leader, you're a global leader, you're a G8 leader. So to generate 2 codes, you can show 7 people there. Their skill level is at that level where they can show 7 people the business and 2 instantly, or are interested in joining the business, or they generate 2 codes from it. To generate 3 codes in a month, you need to show about, in a week, you need to show about 10 people the business. To generate 4 codes in a week, you need to show about 15 people the business. To generate 5 codes in a week, you need to show about 20 people the business, all right?